Hi guys, so here at Passion 77 we have decided to create a food list. So I have it broken down into carbs, proteins, and fats. Before everybody kind of goes a little crazy, this isn't macros, protein, carbs, and fats. This is just a way for me to create a system for you to use so you don't have to worry about measuring and you don't have to calculate macros. You can just go off the food list and the plate list and you should be good to go. So with that being said, as you can see, I put in there any vegetable. Okay, so any vegetable. Don't get crazy. Don't start thinking about all these other things. Any vegetable that is plain, that is frozen or fresh, okay? Stay away from the canned unless you can find low sodium versions, okay? So any vegetable, green is always better. Again, no added sugar. We always want to look at our ingredients. Anytime you're getting something in the frozen section, always flip it over on the back and make sure that there's nothing else added into it. Okay. We want to stay away from different types of oils like that they like to put in there. So please make sure that when you are checking your cans, your fresh is easy, your frozen, make sure that there is nothing else added into those ingredient lists. Okay. You can also look into freeze dried or dried fruit. But be careful with dried fruit because there tends to be a lot of sugar added to those. So if you can find options where it is just dried and there's nothing else added, those are great. I know that like Costco and different places like that now have those flash dried, and they have like the crunchy ones that have nothing else in them and they taste amazing. So those are options, but please just make sure that you're checking and making sure that there's not a lot of extra sugar or any other random things added to those, okay? So I have added on the list mustard and hot sauces, pickles, and pickled vegetables. Again, just watch your sugar intake on those. Make sure that there's no added sugars. And watch out for MSG when it comes to spices and hot sauces. We do not want to have MSG. We basically want to try to keep this as paleo as possible. I know that that's a kind of like a term that gets thrown around a lot, but basically if it comes from God, then you can eat it. Meaning if it's growing from the earth, meaning that if it's things that we find on the earth and they are minimally processed, then it is good to go. So you also have on there cocoa aminos, liquid aminos, balsamic vinegar, and vinegars. So those are great things to add a little bit of flavor and a little bit of like, not just flavor, but a little bit of difference and a little bit of, I'm trying to think of the right word I'm looking for. But so things aren't so dry. If you're eating just plain chicken or different things like that, you can make your own oil vinegar sauce. You can do those types of things, okay? And then I have a big one on here that I really want everybody to make sure they understand. Only one of these from this list can you have a day. Meaning you can add some rice, some honey, or some oats. Only one of them for one plate a day. So if you're sitting there and you're breaking your fast and you end up eating like 3 different plates, you spread it out, make sure that only one of those gets added. So that means I can't add honey to my salad dressing and then also have rice on my plate. I'm picking one and I only get one opportunity to eat it a day. So you can see in there are some carbs, there are some complex and honey and different things like that are simple carbs. But in my opinion, if you have those just once a day and you're only allowing it one time, so you get one opportunity once a day, you're going to be okay. Cutting out certain things completely is not doable and it's not sustainable. And these things aren't bad for you in moderation. Carbs are great. Carbs are great for your brain. They're great for your mental clarity and your functioning. And so while those things are good, we want to keep them into a smallest amount of portion as possible. So say you break your fast and you're having chicken and rice, then you can have nothing else from that list for the rest of the day. So I hope that makes sense. Please ask me questions if you're not 100% sure. That's the only one that I thought that could be kind of confusing, not meaning like you get to have one of them every single time you eat a day, one plate, one option, and then it takes everything else off the list. So our proteins are going to be any red meat, any fish, eggs, beans, canned chicken, and tuna. Again, anytime we get anything canned, let's look at the sodium intake and let's look and see if they're adding any oils or anything like that. We always want to go with the options that are just plain and in water. Okay, any pork and any chicken. So all of these are fresh cut meats or frozen meats that have nothing with them, meaning no breading, no MSG, no extra junk. You don't want them to have set in a solution besides maybe salt. So always take a look at the back of it and make sure that there's nothing added to it and you're still good to go. I know that fresh meat isn't always an option for absolutely everybody. Frozen is fine as long as you're looking at the ingredients and making sure that they're not adding any vegetable oils, any sugars, any MSGs, or any breading. Okay, we want to stay away from all of that for the next 77 days. I know these things are going to be super challenging, but as you finish the 77 days, you will be able to have created some really awesome changes that once you do maybe add in some things, you're going to feel pretty junky to where you've started to make that association of, you know what, this isn't worth it. And that's the whole thing we're going for here. And finally, our fats. So you see quite a few things over here that you're probably not used to seeing in a lot of diet lists. So before everybody freaks out, just a little explanation. We want you to have fats. We want you to enjoy the foods that you eat. I don't want you to be absolutely miserable. So this is going to take some work on your end to make sure that you are eating fresh fruits and vegetables and different things that you enjoy. So if you're somebody who's never really tried a whole bunch of different things, this is going to be an opportunity for you to look at this food list and see, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm going to give this a shot with this, okay? So we do have avocado and bacon. I know bacon's kind of a crazy thing for you guys to see on there. One of the things I always try to make sure I find is when you're looking at different types of bacon, bacon's going to be expensive, the ones that we want you to eat, because you're not going to want to get one that has a whole bunch of other junk in it. So make sure that you're looking at that label and you're paying attention to what you're grabbing. I always go for the lower sodium, and I try to do like the cured bacon that's cured with like celery or natural things that doesn't have a whole bunch of extra stuff added to it. So cottage cheese is another one that a lot of people get thrown a loop for. I'm talking about no added fruits. You're not going to get those little packs that have the sugary syrup fruit that you can add into it. This is just plain cottage cheese with no sugar added to it. And one of the best things that I like to do personally is I'll take my cottage cheese and I'll take my fruit and I'll mix it together and I'll make my own thing. Granted, it probably doesn't taste as good as the tons of sugar that's added to it in other little pre-made things, but you're still going to get some amazing benefits. And then that way you can still have those cottage cheese, and cottage cheese is amazing protein and fat as long as you're getting the full fat. So I put that on the fat list, but it does have a lot of protein. So it's a great one for you to have. So again, I want you to make sure you're getting those whole milk options along with those whole fat options when it comes to cottage cheese. We want butter. So butter, it doesn't necessarily have to be grass-fed, but again, pay attention to what type of butter that you're eating. Make sure there's not a ton of random oils in it and a whole bunch of other junk. Make sure it's just 100% milk and fat and butter, okay? Salted's fine. So sour cream, again, full fat. We always want to make sure that we're adding in those healthy fats that come naturally from our animals that they are processed from. So again, yogurt's another great option. Greek yogurt, full fat, no sugar added. Those are going to taste kind of crazy. They are a little sour, but the good thing about that is you can add in some of your fresh fruits that you enjoy, and you can even do like a little smoothie with it. There's a lot of different options there. And then I have some oils that are a great option to have on a daily basis would be your extra virgin olive oil. Pay attention. These things get expensive when they're actually what they are. Okay. So that's the only bad thing. If you see an oil that's super, super cheap, check the back and make sure that that's what it's saying that it actually is. So mac nut oil, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, those should be your oils. I pretty much cook in butter now because I love butter, and I'm going to tell you it makes everything taste so much better, and there's nothing wrong with actual good butter, not all of the oils and the junk that they throw in everything now. So I hope this provides a little bit more clarity on what the food list is and what exactly is expected of you. Please drop any questions you have, concerns, comments, any more clarification that you would like. And as always, please like and subscribe and let us know how you're doing.